Same thing. You can hear it cracking. That's what you call hasn't been off in a while. There is nothing left. Did you know that you could have gotten this engine? Jeez. Sliced up a little bit. I forgot what we were even doing. Where am I? I was literally able to travel back in time. Welcome back to Freeman's Garage. It's another day working in the garage, and today we are working on the 1962 AMC Rambler Classic Deluxe trim package. Today we're going to go through the cooling system on this car and get it top notch, ready to go, because this car hasn't been driven for 47 years, and if we're ever going to get this thing back on the road, we need to make sure that this engine is not going to overheat, because these big ol' 196 cubic inch Torque Monster straight sixes are kind of known for overheating, so we need to do everything we can to keep the heat at bay. I think we should get to work right away here. Now, you Freeman's Garage viewers that are the Rambler fanatics, I know you guys have been chomping at the bit for this, and I have too. It's about time, and you can tell that this thing was sitting outside for a while. Quick note, when we do get to the point where we drive this car out on the road for the first time in 47 years, please don't let me forget that we need to bolt the hood latch back down, because if we don't, we might have a bad day. Well, the cars behind us might have a bad day. Let's get some light under this hood. Rust particle in my ear ball. There we go, now we can see. Actually, let's get a second light and light this place up like the sun. Oh yeah, there we go, that's nice. We got some brand new parts that we're going to be installing for our cooling system. I'll show you all those goodies in just a second here. But first, I think a guy should probably tell you what he's thinking here and what the plan is. We're going to replace the heater hoses, which is kind of a unique arrangement they got going on here. We'll dig into all that when we get there, but they are just rotten as can be. I mean, they're actually, you know, soft and supple, but they are just shredded and cracked, so they are actually dry, even though they're soft. But we got heater hose for that. Brand new stuff, some Gates hose. And we're going to replace the upper radiator hose and the lower radiator hose. Now, this is really funny. This hose, can you hear that? This radiator hose, if you don't know, if you're not in the know, a radiator hose is supposed to be soft and pliable and flexible. This thing is like, it is like the shell of a tortoise. This thing is rock hard. I bet you anything, if I wanted to, if I just yanked on this thing, it would just snap right off. If you built pressure in the cooling system and ran down the road like that, these hoses would just explode. It'd be a pretty fantastic show. But we don't want that to happen to us. We don't want to overheat this 196 cubic inch monster we got here. And the upper hose, same thing. This hose is, you can hear it cracking. You know, we could snap this thing. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll shatter these things like a sheet of glass when we get them off. Depends on how frisky we're feeling. But these could be the original hose clamps. I mean, they certainly look like they could be. And so we're going to reuse, every single one of them is like that too. Well, these ones back here are wire clamps. But we're going to reuse all of that because that's all good original parts. And we're also going to take the radiator out and we're going to flush it out. And we're also going to flush out the cooling jackets inside the block in the cylinder head. We're going to get all that cleaned out as best as we can. We're going to flush everything forwards and we're going to flush it backwards. We also have actual real coolant on deck ready to go in. Freeman's not being cheap this time. He splurged on the anti-freezing liquid. Here's some of the goodies that we are using to tackle our Rambler cooling system flush / revitalization, rejuvenation job here today. We're running all gates on everything, and we're going with the flexi hoses, and the reason for that is good luck finding an upper and a lower actual molded, non-flexi hose for this car. They could be out there. I could only source one, and it was twice the price of the of these guys. So this is what we're running. We're going to use this for our upper, this for our lower. We got 6 feet of 5/8 heater hose. That should be plenty. And we got a brand new fan belt here so that our water pump can pump. If our water pump can pump, it might not even work. We don't know that. We won't know till we drive the car, or at least until we have the engine running long enough here in the garage where we can get the thermostat open and verify that the pump's actually pumping. I'm gonna get some of this stuff, this carburetor rebuild stuff out of the way that we don't need here. And the parts that we're using today, they're all linked down in the video description. And I'm pretty sure that I've already sourced out the best possible prices. Could be wrong, but if you need any of this stuff, it's all there. Half the work's done for you. If we are successful in today's endeavor, for our OCD friends, we will finally clean this off. But if we fail, if things don't work out, it's going to stay on. The very first thing we should do is get this radiator out, which couldn't look any more simpler. We just zip the hoses and then there's 2 bolts on each side. They look like a 1/2 inch, so we'll grab one of those as soon as we get these hoses off. This is exciting, isn't it? Finally, more Rambler action on Freeman's garage. Boy, these hoses are so crusty. But hey, we like it that way here at Freeman's garage. We like it crusty. We like it crusty, man. It's just too bad that these would explode on us on the freeway. Oh, I don't know how much time we'd be spending on the freeway in this car. These engines are essentially a 1930s, 1940s design, and they're not really made to be running down the highway at 3,000 RPMs or so for extended periods of time, which is what you'd be doing if you were doing freeway speeds. And this hose does not, these don't want to come off. Whatever we do here, we cannot break this radiator. But you never know. This radiator might have a hole in it. I don't know yet. But either way, all this has to come apart. I'm trying not to break it. Well, maybe we should get this end of the hose off, or try to get that end off first, and then just take the radiator out with the hose attached to it, and then we can get it all angles on it, And there's a spider trying to bite me. Not today, buddy. Not today. Nothing a comically large screwdriver can't handle. I might as well just stop fooling myself here and get a razor blade, huh? Which that might not even do it. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. There we go. Try not to drop a bunch of debris inside the thermostat housing. That's what you call hasn't been off in a while. Oh. You know what? I didn't order a new thermostat because I had high hopes. And I think we might want one. Well, that's going to be our setback. Because at some point here, a guy's going to have to boot scoot boogie in the 67 Chevy C10 and go down to the store parts. Oh, nice. Okay, here we go. If we make it to the point of going to the parts store, which I'm hoping that we do, at that point, I will give you the scoop, the deets on what thermostat I recommend running in this beast and which one we're going to go with and why. Alright, come on. Whatever, do not break this radiator. Okay, well, I'm about to cut you off. No, you're coming up. I just do not want to break or crack this tank on this radiator or we are doomed. It will be a fail and it will say sold on the driver's door glass for an undetermined amount of time. There we go. Good boy. Pretty crusty, huh? That's why we're flushing the cooling system. Any New Yorkers out there? Ideal Corporation. High Gear. Brooklyn, New York. These hose clamps are made in Brooklyn. Aye, man. It is worse than I thought. We'll deal with that in a minute. Let's get this bottom hose off first. Our lower rad hose ratcheting screwdriver. Best thing ever invented. Well, I mean, there's instant grits, but this is pretty good too. After seeing inside this thermostat housing, I don't have the highest of hopes for the water pump. Hopefully, whenever we get to that point of actually testing the water pump out, hopefully it doesn't shut us down, because we might be looking a while for one. Hose clamps loosened. Oh. These don't want to budge either. This is funny. Come on. Ow. Come on now. Come on. Don't take 5 hours to come off. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. There we go. It broke free. Or loose anyways. Now we need to make it free. I'm trying to free you, radiator hose. Come on now. I'm trying to keep you in one piece so that you can be on display at the Rambler Museum. Is there a Rambler Museum? I don't know, but it'd be cool if there was. If there was, we're gonna have to drive a Rambler there, road trip. But that's never gonna happen anyways if we can't get the gosh darn radiator hose off. I've got a feeling that I'm not gonna like what I see when this hose comes off. There you go. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I could have just cut you because I'm breaking you apart anyways. Alright. We got one end off. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. That's real bad. It is full of junk. But there's clear water draining out of the hose onto the ground though. I wonder how much water is going to come out of here when we pull that hose off. But I've got you perched up in the battery tray for a front row seat. You got rock star seats. Best seat in the house. How much water is going to come out of here? As long as it's not enough to reach the sheetrock on my garage walls. Oh, come on. You're just a hose, and I'm just a guy. Can a guy just get the hose off? There we go. Okay, just sliced my arm on the fan, but that's okay. That's okay, it's worth it. Is it? Is it worth it? I think so. Well, there's no room. There's no room for my arm. I can't pull it off. The battery tray is in the way. Well, I think we'll just have to trick it. We'll have to bamboozle it a little bit. And I think it's working. Oh, well, we're hitting the steering box. That could be our problem. Alright, what's going to come out of here? Am I going to be rushing for a couple frisbees here? Or is an old cake pan going to do it? Oh, that's not bad. We'll just let it go. You know what? I didn't even check this radiator to see if it had a drain before we did that, did we? Guess I just assumed nothing would be in it. That's alright. That's not a whole lot. Okay, now we can get a good look inside this hose. Oh. I guess we'll see what comes out of this engine block in a minute here. Might as well do this right where we're walking. Radiator coming out. And it is a 1/2 inch. Nice, the hardware's all rust free. Piece of cake. The reason why we're taking the radiator all the way out is so that when we flush it out with the garden hose, we can tip it up, turn it upside down and shake it out and all that jazz. battery tray conveniently located. Oh, okay. Well, this is something to note. There is nothing below the radiator, so as soon as this last bolt comes out, the radiator would just fall to the ground. I don't know if there's a piece that might be missing, or if there isn't anything missing, then that's just the way it is. So I definitely would not take these bolts out if the radiator was full of coolant, right? But, you know, I don't see, we'll get a better look when we have the radiator out of the car, but I don't see a petcock, a valve, a drain of any type. So, I guess you just pull the lower radiator hose and drain it that way and then take your radiator out. Unless you're man enough to take these bolts out with full water. Alright, 1962 Rambler radiator coming out. Soon. Okay, what are we? We were just being a Sheila. Alright, there we go. It is out. In many jobs, there comes a point that when you reach it, you realize that you've ripped enough stuff apart that you have no choice but to continue and finish the job. I turned to carry this thing out the door and it puked all over the fender. This is the kind of stuff we want to get out of there. I'm concerned about spots like this possibly being a hole. We'll find that out in a second. We could put water into the top, or we could put it in through here. Doesn't matter. This thing is extremely hot from sitting in the sun. Ooh. Hate to be a whiny butt, but that's a burden. And that's a flowing. That don't look bad. That's nice and clear, but we know the gunk is in here, so let's keep a flushing and we'll turn it upside down and we'll do it and we'll push the water through in reverse and see what we can't get out of there, and we'll do a full bath. Flip the radiator over and what do you know? There's the drain. That is good to know. A little backwards flushage. Never hurt a radiator. I'm watching the water flow out of this radiator and it has unearthed what appears to be a coin. Judging by the size and shape, I would say a nickel. Most likely a Jefferson nickel, hopefully a Buffalo nickel. Let's reach down in there and find out. Or a silver war nickel would be sweet, which is a Jefferson nickel that was made during World War II. No, it's not any of those. It's just well, let's see here. Just a ratty 1993 clad J-Nick. Alrighty. Clean radiator. Let's get this thermostat housing off, and we'll get these heater hoses off. Get this out of the way just so we can see our carburetor that we rebuilt in a previous video here in Freeman's garage with this car. That was a pretty sweet success. And we just got to remember how these go. There's a pretty funky little setup going on here with the way our heater hoses are routed. Looks like we're sticking with the 1/2 inch theme around here. Good man, Rambler. Good man. Or AMC, whichever you'd like to say. Rambler was its own brand at the time this car was made, but yes, AMC was pulling the strings, they were behind the curtain, they were doing all the do's and all that kind of stuff. Yowza! Yowza! You know, how does this happen with me? I swear. This is just gonna be pull the thermostat housing off and basically put it back on when we're done with our flush and all that. But now the brain's going, no man, take a little extra time, throw it in the blast cabinet. Make this thing, bring it down to bare metal and throw some fresh paint on it. Well, let's double check. I can tell this is steel and not aluminum, but just to double check, magnet on the stick says that it is a ferrous metal. Oh boy, do we add that extra work or no? Do we need to? Should we just wire brush it? I mean, are we painting the entire engine today? Oh, fun factoid. Did you know that you could have gotten this engine in an aluminum version? Let's just wire brush it and move on. It's pretty bad though, isn't it? There is nothing left of that thermostat. It's almost like this thing was rusting since day one in 1962. Which maybe it was. Jeez. Almost put this thing right through my finger. Whoa. I think the word for that is gnarly. Let's just wire brush it. And move on. That was some tough going to get that stuff off. And you know, guys gotta know when to just call it quits, because with corrosion involved, it kind of started eating away with this. You see how it looks great, right? And then we just left that stuff in there because some of this started kind of disappearing on us. The thermostat housing was thinking about playing Houdini, and we want to make sure that we've got something left here for our radiator hose and clamp to grab onto. This is all solid metal. It's just this thinner, you know, edge up here that's a little not as robust as down here. But, you know, the inside of this isn't going to be cleaned out anyways, as far as, you know, making it look nice like that. We're just going to be getting the big chunks out, or hopefully we do. Let's shop vac this stuff out and get this old gasket material cleaned off of here. And we will also scrape out as much of this stuff as we can. And then let's get the garden hose in here and just start flushing this stuff out. Forward and reverse. We'll get the heater hoses off and flush out the heater cord. Mr. Cheapo broke out a brand new razor blade for this. That's how much I care about this vehicular. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that the dent in the top of this oil filter, it's just the perfect fit. It's like it was me that did it. It's just the perfect resting spot to lean on when working under this hood. I'd be lying to you if I told you that I wasn't running this shop vac without a filter. I promise I'll get my act together and I won't do that again. Let's make sure these threads for our thermostat housing are nice and clean. This is just something quick and easy we can do just to make sure things go back together well. Oh no, now I'm tempted to sandblast the hardware. No, do not do it. Ooh, I wonder how this looks. Ooh, nice and clean. We'll throw a coat of primer on this. We won't actually paint this. We'll just throw a coat of primer on it, and that can dry while we are off at the parts store getting a... You can't make that up. Let me take you off your perch here. We'll let it dry while we're at the parts store getting the thermostat. Saved by the bell. I think you know what's going to happen with this engine in the future here on Freeman's Garage. I don't think I'm going to be able to resist it. We should drive this car for a while and enjoy it. Well, I mean, that's if everything goes well in future videos with this car and the vacuum controlled push button automatic transmission works, and you know, we get through all those hurdles. What I'm getting at is I would like to enjoy this car for a while and then maybe pull this engine out and detail it, paint it just like the factory, and we can get really granular on it and just make it just a piece of art that, well, it's spray painted art, but you know what I'm saying, it's gonna look cool. Ow. Did you see that? I picked up this magnetic ratcheting screwdriver and this razor blade was attached to it. Stung a little. Got lucky there, huh? Alright. Nasty heater hoses coming off. This one's tough too. Come on. There we go. I was just about to cut you. Didn't I say that about every hose so far? Alright, well, better put those there. Otherwise I'll knock them off on the floor. Let's get that wire out of the way. Speaking of wires, this is a wire style clamp. Oh, do you notice how I just naturally then put my elbow on this oil filter? Telling you. Okay. Not a single hose on this car wants to play ball, huh? You all want to play hardball. Well, I guess if they were playing hardball, that'd technically be playing ball, right? Is that how that works? We're gonna slide you down. Ooh, sparks. Saw some sparks. That's good for views, right? Sparks. People like sparks. People like to see sparks. People love sparks. But they probably don't like to see a guy fighting with one clamp for an hour. Well, I'm using the wrong pliers, I can tell you that. I can tell you that for sure. Need some different pliers. There we go. There we go. Use the right tool for the job, right? Even though I have the right tool now, I still end up using it like a hammer, don't I? Okay, this is getting insane. Are you still here? I'm sorry. I don't know. You know, for years I've had my doubts about wire clamps, but now after dealing with that, I think that they just may be the superior clamp. Would it be a surprise for you to learn that I thought we'd be completely done with this job by now? But no! We end up media blasting, we end up fighting with clamps forever. But, you know, it's what we do. We love it, right? Okay, I better break down and cut this one because I think we might be bending what it's attached to. Okay, well, I guess we'll find out if that leaks or not. Alright, get out of here. Need to get that one off now. And then we need to get those two ends off over there, which those might not be the easiest. You know, I'm actually not sure how we're gonna get these hoses off on this end tucked up in here. We got, I think, a vacuum line and a cable going over the top of it. I think that's a vacuum line. And then this cable here, I think that's probably for the parking brake. And it's on top of the part of the clamp here that we need to grab. Okay, I'm gonna try to, oh, this is all falling apart too. Not the actual metal cable, but the sheathing around it. Okay, I'm going to, what about back here? Yeah, there's just almost no room. I'm gonna have to try to play, you know what? No, maybe we should just start trying to cut that out. Ah, I know how we can do it. we need to... Well, come over here, I'll show you. This cable is just, it's too tight in here to get off of this clamp. You see what I mean? There's no room for it to go anywhere. So I'm thinking, what if we chop the hose off here, okay, on this side of the wire clamp, chop it off here. Well, might as well chop the other one too, and then we'll have all this space back here cleared up, and then maybe we can move the cable over further. I'm thinking we'll try it. If all else fails, just keep cutting. Okay, well, my plan wasn't really working until I broke this. Just this rock hard piece off of our cable here, or sheathing if you will. And that is okay, that's not going to hurt anything, but now we got a little bit more wiggle room to squeeze on that clampage. Boy, this sure is a tough spot when you're trying to not ruin things, that is. Alright, I think we're gonna get it now. Come on. Come on, son, come on. This really is taking a while, but we don't want to break what that hose and clamp is attached to. That's not going to be good, because we might not ever find another one. So that would just be opening up a, what's a good word, a whirlwind of, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying, right? Right in the eyeballs. Rotten rubber parts right in the face, but we got the wire clamp off, and now there's just a little chunk of dried out hose stuck on here. Let's get that off as quick as we can, and then get this other hose off, and then this project is moving forward. This piece of hose is just fighting us till the end here. Jeez Louise. Baby, please. Holy Cincinnati. That was a good half an hour since the last time I checked in with you. Got the clamp off on this last hose. Now there's just this little piece of hose still stuck on here. Oh my gosh. This thing just does not want to come off. Come on, you're killing me, Smalls. Alright, come on. Please, I'm begging you. My gosh, is this razor blade? I keep cutting and cutting and cutting this, and it's like it's like the T2 on Terminator. It just keeps putting itself back together. Oh, I know what it's doing. It's waiting for me to cut myself. As soon as I slice my fingertip off, then it will say, oh, okay, alright. We'll come off now. Alright. Jeez. What was the deal with that? Yeah, I could start a water park in my shirt. Pretty sure I'm sliced up a little bit. It's all gonna be worth it when we're driving down the street and we see a little kid riding their bike and they see a unique car and they think it's cool and they stop in their tracks and stare, and as we go by we can go beep beep with that 1962 horn. And that kid might remember that forever. Those hoses took so long, I forgot what we were even doing. Where am I? Why is my radiator on the floor? Hey, it's future Freeman here with a very important message for you. No, I didn't time travel back in time just to tell you who won the Special Bowl. No, it's more important than that. The video you're watching right now, when I got done filming the entire thing and doing all the back-end production work on it, it ended up being about 2-ish hours long, and I'm not brave enough right now at this point in Freeman's Garage to throw a 2-hour video at you, so I'm breaking it up into 2. And believe me, trust me, it's worth waiting, because if you had the whole 2-ish hour video right now, it would end without finishing the job, because we would be missing some very important parts. That's a long way of saying you're awesome. There's more Rambler stuff up on the screen right now for you to watch, and very soon here on Freeman's Garage, the second half of this cooling system video will be up for you to enjoy. And yeah, this isn't some fancy smancy pants cable television program, so there's no rules here. We can do whatever we want. I was literally able to travel back in time to tell you whatever I wanted to tell you. We'll see you soon.